Hey y'all, what's going on? Well, what I got going on is some meal prepping. I'm over here. Well, I'm actually prepping some meat. I got some chicken necks here. I got some chicken necks and oh, I was supposed to get me a bowl. I got me some chicken necks here, and it's actually late at night. And normally, I will be up looking at TV, but I say, I know I got some canning and stuff that I want to do in the morning, so instead of just laying up looking at TV, I could be going ahead of myself and making it a little bit, making the process go by a little bit more quicker by prepping up the meat that I want to can. So I got these chicken eggs here, and I was trying to get me some wide mouth jars or whatever to put these in, and I was gonna actually just do them in the pint size jars and just stick the chicken egg in the pint size jar just like that. But I was like, I can probably save myself the struggle of trying to force these necks in there and making sure they got enough head space and all that there by just cutting these down smaller. And I know for a fact I'll be able to fit these right on into my jar. No problem. Don't have to worry about the head space. So it's gonna turn out the same. Only difference is it's just smaller pieces. So I was like, well, let me just do that now, and I'm gonna get them washed up and seasoned up, and they're gonna be ready to go to be put in jars tomorrow. So that's gonna be one less thing I have to do, right? Since I already know that I was gonna be up all night. I already know I was gonna be up all night. So ain't no need of me just staying up looking at TV when I could be doing some work to help myself out for tomorrow. And I also will be doing, so then I had another thing that I'll be prepping up if the meat thaw out. If the meat thaws out by the time I'm finished doing what I'm doing, then I'll tell you what else I'll be prepping up. But y'all, I'm actually loving this here canning. I'm loving it, y'all. It just feels good knowing that I got food put up, and if anything was to happen, I ain't got to worry about my food going bad. Like if we need a quick meal, I have a meal to pull out. Now, I know y'all probably like, well, Tiana, what you gonna do with the chicken necks? Girl, you can have you some. I'm gonna cook these in a broth, and these chicken necks, you can have them, make a soup with them like I did that everybody had loved. I'll take these chicken necks, put them over rice, honey, whatever I want, whatever I gotta have a taste for. So I'm gonna just actually, you could do chicken necks and potatoes and a vegetable, like whatever you got the taste for. That's what you use them chicken necks for. Same way you use turkey necks, just like that. So yeah. So I figured that it'll be a good idea. And I'm gonna put these in the pint size jars because my husband, he don't eat them. So whenever they do get ate, it'll be me just eating it unless I use them to make a soup or something like that. And for myself or even for a crowd. So yeah, and cutting them up makes more. So yeah, it's smart to just do these here in the pint size jars, being that I'm gonna be the only one eating them. From what I'm thinking. And also we're gonna get us some flavor down in these here, cause I'm gonna season them up, so they're gonna get them some good flavor. I ain't really gonna put like a whole lot of seasonings, but you know when you marinate stuff, that flavor be way better. I gotta smell my stuff, child, cause you know sometimes you buy stuff from the store, and just cause it be looking good, sometimes it don't be good as it be looking. So I'm just making sure. Huh? Yeah, we were supposed to be getting a storm here. Thank God that, I think the storm detoured, so we're not going to be getting that bad weather. I thank the Lord for that. We don't need that. We don't need them problems. And for those of you that live in Tennessee, if y'all was hit by the storm, I hope that y'all didn't have no major damages or anything to your house, family, or anything like that. I hope everyone was safe that was in the path of the storm. But yeah. So, just gonna get all these here cut up. This is basically just the prep. It's smart to do. Go ahead on the prep. But I'm telling you, I was just laying up thinking about that thing. I'm like, I know I wanted to do a couple things tomorrow. I want to get up early. And I'm like, there's a couple things that I want to do. And I'm like, what can I get right into the kennel? But that's what I was thinking. Like, what one thing can I get right into the kennel? So I didn't have nothing prepared that can actually just go right into the kennel. So I was like, well, I need to be getting up out this bed and start prepping some stuff. That way I can be getting some things right into the kennel, just in case I decide to prep something else to go in the kennel after whatever I put in first comes out. So I'm saving myself a whole lot of time. I got a lot on my plate for tomorrow too, though. I got a lot on my plate. This a piece of, what this is? Child, that's a piece of chicken flat there. We're gonna throw it on in there, honey. They gave me a chicken flat. Cut that little piece off of that though. Just gonna throw it right on in there. So this making a whole lot more than what I would have had. But you can't be mad about more groceries, right? So I actually got me 4 packs here that I'm doing. And when I do my batch of soup, it's showing me, because I got plans on doing a chicken neck soup again. So when I get ready to do my batch of soup, I'm gonna cut my chicken necks down to stretch the chicken necks, because they actually liked that soup I made. And they want some more. So, yeah, I'm gonna be making some of that though, really soon. Actually, for this weekend, We're supposed to be having us a cookout the weekend, and I'm all for it. Y'all already know. I love when we have us some get-togethers. These storms just getting started so early. They coming in the way of me doing a lot of things that I need to get done outside. A lot of things I need to do, and I haven't been able to do it because of the weather. But we can't control Mother Nature. You gotta let it do whatever it's gonna do, and do you after. 'Cause Mother Nature gonna do her regardless. Okay, so now I got all that cut up. Okay. And then I'm gonna soak this here in some vinegar because I actually want to pre-boil that. Y'all know how I feel about pre-boiling my meats that I'm gonna make into soups and stuff like that. I like to pre-boil my meats and stuff to get the nasty stuff up off of it. But yeah, so I'm just gonna soak this here in some vinegar and wash it up real good. And another thing that I want to do is some potatoes. So let me get this board cleaned up, get this in some vinegar water, and then we're gonna start prepping the potatoes for the canning process. All right, y'all. So I got my meat over here soaking in vinegar and water. I'm gonna wash that in a minute. So now we're gonna peel these here potatoes. Now I'm not gonna leave the skin on these potatoes because the bacteria that grows that people is worried about that can cause your food to go rancid and, you know, cause you to harm your family. It grows in the dirt and dark areas, right? And so the skin of the potato, and it grows in the ground. And the skin of the it can grow in the ground. And the skin of the potatoes, it got dirt on it. So to keep from causing any problems, I'm finna peel the skins of these potatoes and we're gonna cut them up like that. I ain't gonna leave the skins on my potatoes. And I'm also going to be doing some red potatoes. And by these potatoes not being organic, yeah, I know they're not organic. I'm not sure if I should leave the skin on these potatoes or what. I don't know. I think that I'm cutting the bad parts off too. I think that I probably should peel the skins on the red potatoes too. Or maybe I can wash them real good. But I ain't gonna tell y'all no lie. I was trying to get out of having to wash all those potatoes. Alright, so I'm gonna do a couple potatoes, then I'm gonna go in and cut because y'all know them potatoes gonna start changing colors. Matter of fact, I got some water right here. I'm gonna just go ahead on and stick them right there in that water to keep them from changing colors. I was gonna cut them before I put them in the water, but that's just too much back and forth. We need to go ahead on and get these here peeled up first. So I'm gonna peel all these potatoes, and I'm gonna show y'all the process of me canning the potatoes, canning the chicken necks, and all that. Y'all gonna get all that there. So I know it's gonna be, we're kind of like slowly growing when it comes to this here canning, because this is something new for my channel, and y'all ain't really used to that, and we gotta just connect with the people that's just in that community or whatever with the canning and stuff. And I know it's gonna take some time or whatever, because I done started something new, but hey, I started at the right time, so I can't complain. So yeah, can't complain about that right there. So I see some of y'all talking about y'all failed that canning and stuff at one point in time, and you gave up on it because it didn't turn out right, and ever since you've been watching me, now you're feeling inspired to try it again. Try it again. Try it again. I think you'll be successful at doing it. You know what? I don't think that it was totally you that was the problem. I don't think it was totally you, because if you decided to can something, I'm guessing that 9 times out of 10 there was something that probably could have went wrong, as far as let's just say you didn't have enough head space. You know, you filled your jars up too much and they didn't seal. Let's just say you did something that had liquid in the jars and you didn't debubble the jars. And by not debubbling the jars, that'll make the jars not seal. Let's just say the type of jars that you had, no, not the type of jars, the type of lids that you used when you canned the stuff. It could have been the lids that you used that could have caused the jars to not seal. Let's just say you did something that was greasy or whatever, and you didn't clean the rims of your jars like you were supposed to by wiping them down and cleaning them with the vinegar and stuff like that. Let's just say that could have been an issue. There could have been numbers of things that could have been an issue. But just because you had failed jars don't mean that you give up, because in everything that you do, practice makes perfect. You know? So I'm not perfect at what I'm doing, but I am trying. And I am trying to get there, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and I'm trying to learn to can as much stuff as I can. And a lot of stuff that, people can is not in the ball handbook of canning. So, just because it's not in the book does not mean that these people haven't successfully and safely canned those things for their family or whatever. So you just have to know what you're doing, watch, and even when you don't know what you're doing, just watch somebody that knows what they're doing, learn from someone that knows what they're doing. That way you can at least assure yourself that, you did the process right. So that was just like that butter. Somebody was like, Tiana, I ain't never, you the only person I seen can butter. I ain't the only one that done can butter. I didn't think of canning butter on my own. The canning butter actually came from me watching somebody. And that's why I decided to try and can some butter. Because, they say it's not in the handbook, but, and they warn you that it's not in the handbook, but they had been doing it for, many years. A lot of people, they can butter. A lot of people, that's just like they talk about, pressure canning their meats and stuff like that. But then they were also saying that, for many years, other people, they didn't pressure can their meats. They just water bath canned the meats, which that's not a way that they would do for their family, because it wouldn't have a long shelf life, or they wouldn't trust that, because certain things need to be up under pressure. When you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. When you don't know what you're doing, you got to learn from somebody. And those same people that became experienced in whatever it is that they is doing, they learn from somebody. They done had their hiccups along the way. They done been at the same spot that you done been in. I am at, where they didn't know, But that didn't stop them. That didn't stop them. They kept going. And that's why they became as good as they is at whatever it is they're doing, because they didn't give up. They kept going. You're gonna It's gonna be scary. I done got kind of over that scary phase now. Every now and then I kind of be scared of this here candle, but there's nothing to be scared of if you is doing what you're supposed to do as far as making sure that the lid is sealed right, not opening the canner when before time, and just a lot of things that you have to do to be cautious. So if you're doing everything you know that you're supposed to be doing to be cautious, then I don't think you really have anything to worry about. So I haven't had a problem yet, and I don't plan on having a problem because I plan on doing this here correctly, because canning your own food can be very dangerous. So you need to make sure that you take your time and do things right. So that's why I'm here tonight. Up late night, prepping my stuff. That way I don't feel rushed and pressed for time to, try to get this stuff done in a certain amount of time, and try to rush because I'm trying to do so much at one time, and which I don't have to do so much at one time. I choose to do that. It's all up in your time, and however long you want to be up in the kitchen on your feet, doing whatever, it's all in your timing. So you could do one thing a day, two things a day. However, you want to get more things done in the day, to get up early. You want to or stay up later. Just depends on your schedule and what it is that you have to do. So yeah, I know that I'm gonna be getting up early. So that's why I'm up late. And trying to do a lot of things. Tomorrow, I'm at least be trying to do, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least like 5 things tomorrow. If I don't get it all done, I ain't gonna be mad. But when my husband hit the floor, I got plans on hitting the floor. So, yeah. Yep, so I can get on it. I know I'm gonna be tired, but guess what? That's more food that I have put up. That's less worries that I have because of these storms that's coming. You know what I'm saying? And these storms is actually my motivation, honestly. Find something that that motivates you. Find something that motivates you to do it. What is your reason for canning? What's your reason? Ask yourself that. And whatever that reason is, let it be important enough to make you want to do it every day, or however regular it is that you know that you need to do it. What is your reason? So for one, these storms right now is my reason. And I know I have a lot of food in my freezers, and I don't want to lose my food that I got. I spent too much money on these groceries, and anything can happen. The power goes out. That showed me already. I told y'all just a week ago, the power went out. So do I want to wait around for another storm to come and then my power go out, and then the power may be out, for a couple of days, and then I'm over here scrambling trying to, keep my food frozen cold and stuff like that, running out of ice because I'm not going to be the only one without power. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems. So as much as I can get put up in my cabinet, the better. Of course, I'm still going to be cooking, my food and stuff like that, but I don't want to just be stuck with a whole freezer full of, food and no generator and no way of keeping it froze, if the power goes out. Nah. We got to do our part, We got to do our part. The Lord blessed us to be able to pay for these groceries, honey. We pay for these groceries with cash. I don't get no food stamps. Honey, I'll show love to be able to, but I don't. But so I spend my hard-earned money, my husband hard-earned money on these groceries, and you got to do what you got to do, And let me go ahead on and repeat what I done heard a lot of people say. Also, even if you're not putting your food up because of a storm, and you want to put food up because if hard times come, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know that you may be out of a job, or you just never know if your Social Security check get cut off. You just never know if they anything happens with money in your bank account. Y'all already know what people around here doing now with, y'all know what I'm talking about, around here getting people stuff that they done worked hard for, like it's theirs, you know. So something like that happens where you can't afford to buy yourself no groceries. Well, while you have the funds, you could be doing something like this, you know, putting you some food up. Because like they say, you got to have life insurance, that's security. You got to have house insurance, that's a security. You got to have car insurance, that's a security. So why not have food insurance? Your food insurance is putting you some food up and you some jars, canning you some stuff, that's your insurance. You know what I'm saying? That's your insurance for food. But see, a lot of times we don't think about stuff like that. We just think about, oh, I got me some meat in my freezer. Yeah, but what if that freezer go out? What if that freezer go out? What you gonna do then? What if you lose all your food because you only depended on the freezer? Y'all already see, you can't depend on no freezer. You can't depend on no refrigerator because those things can go out any day. And when they go out, you may not have the money to be able to replace it right then and there. So what are you gonna do? You got to create yourself a food insurance. Create yourself food insurance. For you, even if it's just for yourself. For you and for yourself and your family. You know what I'm saying? Because you just never know. And also you may be able to be a help to someone else. If you have extras, you know, you'll be able to be a help. Be like, hey, I ain't got no money for you, but I got these, you know, few jars of food that you can have to, you know, help get you by. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, God gonna bless you for that. You know, for being prepared for yourself. And also being prepared for that person that he may send to you to be a blessing to. Alright, so now let me get some water over here in this. So I'm gonna be canning my potatoes in quart-sized jars. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these up big because I don't want my potatoes to go into to mush, because I'm gonna have to can these for a long period of time, being that I'm using quart size and not pint size jars. So I'm gonna cut these kind of big like that right there, as you can see. And that way, hopefully, they don't cook down on me too much. And so, like I said, you try to cut out the rotten spots and try to cut out the cut all the skin off and all that the bad spots. That way, you know, you don't set up no type of bacteria in your jars. So I'm actually glad that I got into this right here, because y'all been like, I know that I'm the type of person where I overly explain stuff, and that's because I am a hands-on learner. And so whenever I'm showing somebody how to do something, I actually show you or tell it to you in the way that I would need for it to be told for me to be able to learn it. I need you to break it down real good, because baby, I need to know all the steps, the details, everything. I need to know it all, because I don't be trying to mess nothing up, you know. So I can't help that I explain it in that way, because that's how I be needing it, so that I make sure I get it right. And I know I ain't the only one. I know I ain't the only one. So, you know. So I'm just getting those cut up kind of big. You know, like if you was doing like a stew or something, you know. Or if you're doing like cooking some potatoes in the oven, roasting them or something like that, you know, cut them up big like that. That way, you know, when you cooking them in the oven, you know how you don't want them to cook down on you. So yeah, that's and get mushy and stuff. So these right here, we don't want these to get mushy on us. So I'm trying to cut all these bad spots out, which I need to get some more water on them, but they'll be alright. I normally will cut these up pretty fast, but you know, I'm trying to really make sure that I don't see. I'm being particular. I'm being particular because I never did this before. So I'm really particular and watching and making sure that I don't leave nothing on these potatoes that ain't got no business on it. And I know it probably ain't as bad as I'm making it right now, but I don't know. I don't know. I gotta be for sure for myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But you know, another thing, like one of the things we worry about is the botulism, right? That's the bacteria that grows. That's the bacteria that I was telling you about that grows in the ground that gets in your food, that will cause your food to spoil and go rancid or whatever, and can possibly harm you and whoever that eats it or whatever. But I've been looking at a lot of people, you know, do this canning and stuff like that, y'all. And I came across this one lady that was talking about the botulism, and you know, they was talking about how you can kill the bacteria, and it actually dies in 240-degree temperatures. So that's why you should pressure can low acid foods to help kill those spores that grows, right? So it was like, well, let's just say, you know, you think that something may have not canned properly and you're not sure or whatever. If it canned properly, you get ready to open it up, you get ready to cook it. It didn't have no smell, you know, it didn't look bad and stuff like that. But once you heat it up, those spores die. So 9 times out of 10, you about don't have nothing to worry about when it comes to that, because when you get ready to heat up your jarred food that you can, you know, you're gonna heat it long enough to you know, kill off that bacteria. So you really don't have to worry about that. And that's one thing that keeps a lot of people from canning, is because that's one thing you worry about. But yeah, so like, say like you're doing this for yourself. I'm jumping topics, y'all, because I'm just thinking about different stuff. But say like you're doing this for yourself, right? Doing potatoes for yourself. You can do them in a pint-sized jar. But I'm actually doing the quart-sized jar because my husband loves potatoes, and I know that. I know he do. Let me see. That's probably okay. I know he do. I know he loves him some potatoes. So whenever I cook us some potatoes, I'm gonna need enough potatoes for me and for him, because cooking a little pint-sized jar, I'll be gonna open 2 of them to try to make enough for me and him. So I might as well just go ahead on and do the quart-sized jars, knowing that I know that the quart size will be more than enough, or just enough, for me and my husband, you know, to eat off of. And you know, another thing that I take into consideration, right? Because doing this makes it where your food has long shelf life for many years. Many years. 10, 15, 20 years. You know? Like, so what I think about is, what if I was to have something that I be done canned and I've had it longer than 5 years, and my husband and I had to go to this jar food in a situation where something just happened or whatever, and we have no power and we don't have refrigeration to store the leftovers, right? Well, how is it that you should can up your food when you preparing it? Are you going to prepare too much, or are you going to prepare just enough for y'all to eat in that one serving? So that's another thing that I think about. I think about canning enough for us to eat in one serving, if that had to be the case. You know what I'm saying? I don't just think about for meals whenever I just don't feel like cooking and I just want to grab something and throw something together. So another thing that I think about is, you know, the way that I want to can my stuff. You know how you could do like meals in the jar. So you might want to do what you call it, roast. And you know, when you do your roast, you might want your potatoes, your carrots, your onions, your celery, and all that good stuff there, right? But then, or beef stew, and same difference. You want your potatoes and all that stuff right there, right? So I think about, I'm like, well, how many jars of that will you have to open if you was to prepare that for however many people, right? Think about it like that. How many jars of that will you have to open? So will it make more sense for you to prepare each ingredient separately, or will it make sense to put it together as a meal in the jar? Me personally, I think about it like this. If I make something and that's going to have some meat up in there, I want to make sure I have me enough meat. So how I want to do is, I want to prepare my stuff by ingredient. I don't want to prepare it by meals in a jar. I don't know if I would ever do anything, any of them like that. I just can't say that right now. But as of now, I want to do mine by ingredient. That way, if I do some beef stew, I'll just go grab me a jar of beef, because I know I don't put enough beef in the jar or whatever. I'll go grab me a jar of beef. I'll go grab me a jar of potatoes, grab me a jar of carrots, grab me a jar of whatever it is that I want to add to it, and then create that beef stew. When you do it like that, you can stretch your meal more like that. Because if you have potatoes by itself, you're going to have a lot of potatoes. If you do meat, you're going to have a lot of meat. If you do carrots, you're going to have a lot of carrots. You know what I'm saying? So when you put that all together, you will have enough to feed a family, compared to fixing it up in a jar and have a meal in a jar. That's just enough for a person or two. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking about like that. Like, you know, when it's time to prepare it in whatever situation that I am preparing it for, you know. So I prefer to prepare it, to can my stuff, you know, separately. Like, you know, that way I can just go grab whatever it is that I want to create whatever meal that it is that I'm trying to make. And all of it gonna be done. Either way, all of it gonna be done. So only thing I have to do is really just heat it out. That's it. Heat and eat. So yeah. Alright, so now I'm down to about one more potato. That wasn't so bad. They was really so bad on the top because I needed the they wasn't covered with the water. But we got it. So now I'm gonna be doing since I'm doing potatoes, I'm just gonna go ahead on and do the red potatoes too. I'm gonna go ahead and no, I'm not. I'm not gonna do the red potatoes. I'm gonna do the red potatoes another day, because this is, I'm gonna be doing these in quart size jars, and I can only fit 7 jars in the bottom. I think like 7 in the bottom of the can. I never canned my quart sizes, so I don't know how many I can fit in the bottom with quarts. So probably like 5 to 6, probably about 6 or 7, one of them. So I don't want to do too many, and these right here gonna take 90 minutes to can for each set or whatever. So I ain't gonna be able to double stack them. Will I? I don't think I'll be able to double stack these. No, I ain't gonna be able to double stack them. So I don't need to do too many potatoes for today or tomorrow. I don't need to do too many potatoes because that's gonna take up too much time, and I'm trying to get done as much as I can get done. So yeah, because that's gonna take 1 hour and 30 minutes for the potatoes, and then for that chicken it's gonna take 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then so yeah, I better not. We'll just do the red potatoes another time, because that's gonna be piling too much, and I know what I'm doing now. I want to get that done tomorrow, most definitely. All right, so now let's do the next thing. All right, y'all, so we got those potatoes ready. I put the lid on them. I've covered them completely with some water. All right, so now we're about to season these chicken necks. So to do that, I want to put some onion in it. But I'm going to add some of my seasoning. When you season with what you want to season with. But be careful with your herbs, because they say seasoning with herbs and stuff like that, it can actually change the taste. It'll change. I'm putting some black pepper. It'll change the taste because of the pressuring that you'll be doing to it. So you want to be careful of that. And I'm not gonna put nothing else, because I'm gonna have to add a liquid to this, and the liquid that I'm gonna add, I'm gonna show y'all. So I don't want to over season this, because I know that salt is gonna be intensified, and also, you know, by the broth I'm gonna add. So yeah, I don't want to do too much. But I do want it to have flavor. But it's going to have flavor. Okay, so I think I am going to grab me an onion and cut up in here. Just for a little bit more flavor. And that's it for this, and we're just gonna let these marinate, and they can be ready. So go tomorrow. And an hour and 15 minutes will definitely be more than enough time for these right here to get done. Especially being that it's being pressure cooked. Because this really ain't a meat that take a long time to cook. Okay, so now I'm going to cut up an onion in here. And that's gonna be it for that. Once I let me cut the onion up. Alright, so we're gonna cut this onion up. And that's gonna make a good marinade for this. Wish I had some bell pepper too. This look like it ain't all that good. Right up in the way, y'all. Okay. Alright, so we're just gonna cut this onion up. And I'll be adding this right into the jars. It's an onion. It's gonna be perfect for a soup. If y'all like turkey necks, you'll like chicken necks. It's just chicken. It's just chicken. Now I really don't feel like touching that again. Mix that right now. Okay. Alright, so now that dough is ready to go. So I'm gonna cover this up with some plastic and put it in the refrigerator. Put it right on in the refrigerator. Now that's ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're only a day away. Yeah. So we're gonna get that put in the refrigerator. So now, the next thing we're about to do is, hold on, girl. Okay, we're about to do two things at one time. We're about to do some more ground beef. So the first way we're gonna do ground beef is I'm gonna be cooking this ground beef, and I should have already had it going, but I was trying to debate if I wanted to or not. But it's getting late enough, so by the time it cools off, my husband will be up. My husband will be up. So he'll be able to stick it in the refrigerator for me. Okay. So because it'll be cool by that time. I said I was getting up, didn't I? I said I was getting up. I'll be able to put it in the refrigerator. I ain't gonna have to put it in the refrigerator. So something was going on with my camera just then, I don't know what, but it was just shaking and stuff. But I was just telling y'all that I'm finna do some ground beef. So I got my ground beef up in the pot and I put some water in it. And so we're gonna be doing canning ground beef. We're just gonna go ahead on and cook it and can it tomorrow. It's already gonna be ready to go and everything, cooked and all that stuff. So then I got my hamburger meat here and we're gonna be doing meatballs. And so the reason why I'm gonna be doing meatballs is because I wanted to do hamburger steaks. I'll tell y'all, I gotta keep an eye on you though. Okay, so I wanted to do hamburger steaks, right? So I couldn't get my hands on, I'm finna season this here up, but I couldn't get my hands on no wide mouth jars. I'm using steak seasoning, minced onion, black pepper. No kind of bread, flour, egg, none of that stuff like that. You can't put that in with canning. So I'm not finna do it. I ain't seen nobody do it, so I'm not finna do it. I'm doing what I learned, okay? So anyway, I couldn't get my hands on no wide mouth jars, right? Yeah, I could have bought them regular price, but I didn't want to do that because them jars is expensive, y'all. All these jars is expensive. And so I want to can, but I ain't trying to, I want to get what I want to pay for, okay? What I want to pay for, what I know that I can afford, what I know that I can pay for. I don't want to be having to try to break the bank just to can. So in order to be able to can, I know what I want to spend on my jars. Okay. So I couldn't find no wide mouth jars. So that led me to this option. I just go ahead on and make the meatballs, and you can still do your hamburger steaks. You can still make the gravy. You can still smother them in gravy. You can use them for meat, however you want to use the meatballs. You can use them, right? So I'm like, I could, and by doing the meatballs, that makes it well, I'll be able to use my regular mouth jars. Let me check y'all again, because ain't nobody got time. I don't know why my camera just did that. So, just make the meatballs, and I can put those down inside my regular mouth jars. They'll fit perfectly. But you know, when I do the hamburger steaks, they're gonna have to be patted out into paddocks and stuff, and they're not gonna fit down inside those regular mouth jars. Now, doing this, you don't have to season your meat, but I am, because I want at least a little flavor down up in there, and I'm also going to be adding a broth too, so that's going to be more flavor. But I'm finna put some more onions up in here because I can't see them. Ooh. Put some more onions. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of my seasoning. And I'm trying to think if I want to add some Worcestershire sauce to it too. Trying to think. But if I add the Worcestershire sauce, then it's going to make it something else. Make it taste like something else. And what if I want to use them for spaghetti or something? So I think I'm going to leave out the Worcestershire sauce, and if I have to have it, then I'll try to some kind of way slip it into the gravy, you know. But I think I'll be good without it, because I want this here to be versatile. since I had to do the meatball. Alright, so now I want the meatballs to be kind of on the small side because I want to be able to fit as many as I can in the jar. And I don't dish the spoon that fast, y'all. But yeah, we're gonna use the spoon because I don't want them too big. I want them kind of small, but you know what? They're gonna shrink too because ain't no flour in it. So I think I could probably get away with them a little bit bigger. So these is like a tablespoon size. And I'm just making these up. And you know what? I'm gonna save some of this meat because that's gonna be for us some hamburgers for dinner tomorrow. So, yep. That's what we're gonna have for dinner, hamburgers, something quick, because I'm gonna be doing all that stuff tomorrow. And baby, I'm definitely not gonna be trying to be cooking no big old meal. So, just gonna get these here rolled up. And see how all this prepping I had to do? That's one less thing I got to do tomorrow. Smart cookie, ain't it? Check y'all again. I don't know why my camera just did that. That's weird. I ain't never had to do that before. So, I should have did the hamburger. But I just didn't think I wanted to do the hamburger meat at first. Because that hamburger meat could have already been starting to cool. But you know what? I got to drain it and everything anyway. So, it ain't going to take long for it to cool. And it ain't really like, I said I was getting up when my husband get up. But y'all, it's already late, so I know I ain't gonna be getting up when he get up. So at least I got half of what I want to get done. And even if I don't do this tomorrow, I'll still already have this stuff prepped up. I can cook the meatballs tomorrow. You know, I'll have time to do the potatoes tomorrow. Some gonna get canned tomorrow. I just may not get it all canned tomorrow, but it'll get canned. Some gonna get canned. So it's a start, you know. You can't overwork yourself, but as long as you get something done instead of doing nothing in your day, hey, it is what it is, you know. There's no way we plan things, but a lot of times things don't work out as you plan it, and it's okay. So at least I didn't put it off, you know what I'm saying? At least I didn't just lay around in the bed, look at TV. Now when I go to bed, I'll be sleeping. I wanted to put some parchment paper down. But you know what? I might just put them in this pan and cook them in another pan. Because the other pan I cook them in, I could throw that away. So, either way. Yep. I'm just proud of myself. Proud of myself. So y'all stay tuned though, for real, cause we're gonna be canning up this stuff, and I ain't gonna be doing it all in the, well, probably will be doing it in the same video, honestly. Yeah, because in that video we ain't gonna have no prep. That's gonna make it longer, so yeah. Yep, so I think we probably gonna be able to do a couple canning sessions in one video. However they come out, I hope that y'all like it. And I know that I am inspiring some of y'all, even if I'm not inspiring all of y'all, but I know that I'm inspiring some of y'all, and y'all is liking the videos, and I'm glad that y'all liking it. And I hope that y'all start doing it yourself, and when you start doing it, come back and just let me know, you know, how your canning journey is going and what all you be done did and how you be done overcame your fear of canning and all that good stuff. I gotta check y'all again. I ain't gonna be cutting it out. I'm just gonna walk over there, cause honey, every time I say that, I don't wanna be trying to cut it out. So just in case I don't cut it out, I'm just letting you know, I ain't cutting it out. So by the time I finish with this right here, I want my ground beef done so that I can drain it and let that be draining. And tomorrow, we're gonna be ready to put this in some jars. Even if you don't get, vegetables canned, I might put these in this pan because I ain't gonna have to transfer nothing, child. But even if you don't get vegetable can, get you some meat can, especially if you like to eat meat. Get you some meat canned up, because I want y'all to see what it really feels like when you do this. First of all, when it seals, when you do the process and all your jars start popping, that's a wonderful feeling by itself. Then when all your jars cool and you go to storing your food and stuff like that, and you see that you got meat, knowing how much it costs to buy a can of meat, knowing how much it costs to buy a pack of meat, knowing that grocery prices is going up, and you know that you is covering yourself for rainy days. You know what I'm saying? So that's a feeling by itself. That's a whole nother feeling by itself. Seeing that you got you some meat that's preserved, something that lasts longer than what you put in your freezer. That's a good feeling, y'all. It feels so good to just know that I'm creating a food insurance for myself. Man, this feels good. It takes a lot of work. But what else you doing? What else you doing? Even if you're working, you still got a show that you sit down and catch every day. While you watching your show, you could be sitting down prepping you some stuff to go in your canner. Because once it go in the canner, only thing it is a waiting process after that. Just waiting. Waiting on it to come out. So why not give this here a try? Why not? And also, when you do it, encourage your other family members to do it. Encourage them to create them a food insurance. You want to know why? Because that's spreading some type of life skill to the next one. You learn something and teach the next one, and then guess what? maybe that young one that you teach, they may be inspired. They may be inspired. And then guess what? That helps eliminate less people. That's one less person in this world that's going to be out here trying to go and take something from somebody else because they wasn't prepared for rainy days. You know, you teach a young person, that young person may inspire another young person. And go on and on. On and on. So this here is enough for us. Some hamburgers. Yep. Yep, 2 nice burgers. Make some fries, and that's dinner. So I'm gonna take that and put it in something smaller. And the only thing I'm gonna have to do is just add a little Worcestershire if I want to, to it if I want to. And that's it. But that's the meatballs right there for them hamburger steaks. For whatever I want it for. And you know what else I did, y'all? When I cooked my last batch of ground beef, I had skimmed all the grease off of it, and I saved that grease to cook with. It's called rendered beef fat, and that is similar to, well, or it is really a tallow that they create when they get a lot of beef and they cook it down till it ain't nothing but the oil. Yeah, that's the thing, y'all. Render down beef fat. Just like you take the drippings from bacon, you can take the drippings from your ground beef. And I think I'm gonna show y'all how to do that. So that just in case you cook you some ground beef next time, see, I'm cooking mine in this water. Oil and water don't mix, so it's gonna separate. And especially if you let it get cold, it's just gonna sit up on top and turn white. And you could just really just pick it up off of it. And you'll have the oil to itself and the water and the nasty stuff will be sitting right to the bottom. So I'm gonna show y'all how to do that too, because I know y'all gonna be curious in that. So this is the first step. Just know that that's gonna come next. The cooking process ain't gonna be with it. Yeah, the cooking process ain't gonna be with that. But I definitely got some that I saved though, and it's in the refrigerator. Let me show y'all what it looked like. And you can cook with it. Hold on. Let me get this here in a little smaller. Get that something smaller. Hold on, just stay right there. Don't go nowhere. I ain't gonna cut. Okay, so I didn't can it, but this right here, that's that fat that came off the ground beef that I just did right there. So that's what we'll be making right there, and you can use that to cook with it, just like you use your bacon grease to cook with. And it's called tallow. 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 Alright, y'all, so we're done with the meat. I done washed my dishes, cleaned up. So now, what you want to do is, you want to get your bowl and your strainer, and you want to dump your meat in the strainer and let the liquid stay separate from the meat. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to use this because I just need to do a quick transfer. Strain all that fat off. And the liquid. And you can already see the separation. It's a lot of fat in that. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to let my fat, oh, hold on y'all. Hold up. Like I was saying, you can already see the separation. From the broth and the fat. So once this cool down and actually get cold, it'll be easier to skim, and that's what I'm gonna do this time, because last time I was just trying to skim it. But this time I'm gonna just let it get cold and just pick it off. See, like butter. See that? The yellow layer is the fat. The brown layer is the liquid. And that's what we want, the fat that's on top. And once it get cold, it's gonna turn white. And that's how we're gonna get our tallow. And then the rest, we can just throw it away. So, what I'm about to do is, I want my pot clean, so I'm just gonna wash my pot. And here's a separate bowl for my meat. So I can wash this here. I ain't gonna add no seasoning or nothing to my meat. And now the meat is ready to be canned. I got some piece of meat that fell in here. If I can find it. If not, it is what it is. Oh, there you go. Dang it, I found it. Yeah. Okay, so now. Now, I'm just going to put a lid on both of these here, and we'll worry about it tomorrow. So I hope y'all enjoyed me prepping. Hold on, let me check y'all. Okay, so I hope y'all enjoyed me prepping all the stuff to do to can up tomorrow. So until the next one, this your girl Tiana. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, the like button. Thank y'all for enjoying these videos. Thank y'all for all of y'all support. And until the next one, I'm out.